Ah, boy, here we are. Another indie monster haul. These aren't even all the books. I'm just holding some of them up. We can't get through them all. Some of you know I'm packing a little bit for a move, so we're coming in a little intermittently as of late. But we still need you to subscribe. We need you to hit the like button. We got to get the numbers up. Let everyone know about all these great independent comics that I've been getting. Okay, physical forms. I'm a physical reader. Hey, but I like Marvel DC. Here's the Black Adam. I'm all about that. Looking forward to that movie. How about you? Yeah, leave it in the comments. But also leave in the comments what indie comics that you've been picking up. All right, let's get into this. I'm gonna put some of these down just so I have a manageable amount that I can hold here. All right, here's Antarctic Press Exciting Comics 22. Okay, well, this one has my own. This is Big House Blues, my own story that's in here, and I also have the Sumo Boy chapter in this one. So Sumo Boy, Big Ass Blues, the first two are two stories that I'm doing. Actually, Sumo Boy, they put on the back cover as well. Having just defeated a sumo wrestler that was cropped from a illustration I had. Um, yeah, they actually started with Sumo Boy as the issue kicks off. Again, I'm the writer, art Alexander Coelho, colors Bruno Costa, letters Luis Diaz. Um, and then we had gotten into Big Ass Blues, where he's interrogating a prisoner here. Okay, again, I'm writing this one. Art by Ron Williams, colors Giuseppe Pica, and I did the letters on that one. Let's see. Yeah, Ron did both artists, Alexander Coelho and Ron Williams, both did phenomenal work. Here's Officer Alloy, the main guard that we concentrate on, the head guard, and the warden, Warden Atomic Man. Warden Atomic Man's kind of taken from a public domain character, Atomic Man. So that is, in fact, who had a radioactive hand, which he had to wear a lead glove to when he wasn't using it. So I've put him into the story, and again, we've had some Fallen Justice and Nothing Man, which has had previous chapters in Exciting Comics as well. So that was Exciting Comics number 22. And apparently, I had 21 here. Okay, Ultra Shock Boom. That had Nothing Man and Falling Justice as well. Let's see. Nothing Man, Fallen Justice, and Ultra Shock Boom are all in this book. That's number 21. Okay, these are all from Antarctic Press. 23. Okay, sees the debut. Two friends are in this one. Well, I'm friends with everyone here pretty much, but two people who I've corresponded with for a longer time. in the fact that we have Mally Simpson's Marvelous, okay, starting in this issue. And Camilla Wallace, that's Andre Leal's character, who, again, is we teamed up on an issue of Sorority of Power. Myself and Mally teased a big ass Blue Marvelous crossover, maybe for the future. And Nothing Man and Full and Justice have been, again, other stories that have been running pretty solidly throughout. David Jackson penciled the Marvelous issue, and Andre Leal does all his own stuff. Letters by Francisco Zamora on Marvelous, who is the letterer of Argo 5 and other stories that I've been doing as well. So he's a very busy indie letterer. So that was exciting 23. Okay, we had let me show you some of Andre Leal's work. Really great style. Actually, this was a chapter, I believe, that I edited for him. I think it'll probably even list me there. Let's see. Yep. Editors, Carl Stefan and Dan Sen. All right. So there you go with that. Yeah, I know I had taken that whole script and changed word balloon by word balloon for him, just tightening up the English a bit. All right. So, Antarctic Press also had Gold Digger come out on our marching on to our way to 300, which Fred Perry has announced will be his last. Okay, writing, coloring, lettering, doing the whole book. I mean, there was mini-series, I think, beforehand, so I think he's over 300 already, but he's going to 300 with the issue 289. Gina and Brittany Diggers, archaeologists they started out with, and just a fantastic story, bit of a manga art style, and very sci-fi and supernatural, really extended over a lot of different, here's 290, extended into a lot of different realms with Gold Digger. Here's our two main characters. There they are again. Just a fantastic book. I've been with it since the beginning, all the way to now 291. Let's see. I can't wait to catch up on it because, again, I have been super busy as of late. So I'm a little, as more, looking more at the art. So I'm way behind on reading everything. And here is an issue, I believe, Antarctic as well. Cat Girl, it started out in Exciting Comics. Creator Ben Dunn, story David Furr, art June Wen, cover art June Wen, David Hutchinson. So Cat Girl again started out. Um, and again, it's a bit of a manga style. Has to do, I guess, with Egyptian mythology. Some feline characters also tied into uh, Egyptian mythology and Baphomet, the cat goddess. So most likely the same origins here. Really cool art style. I'll look forward to getting into this. Let's see, where's that book? Here is a book I received from one of the Yeet contributors. Okay, the story ran in Yeet. Yeet has been the anthology from old guys who like old comics. Was one of their, but I think they just mainly publish as Yeet. Maybe there's, no, I thought there was an ad maybe for Yeet. Written and illustrated by J.E. Carrales III. Copy editing J.L. Barbera. Editing consultant Ryan Howitt. Trish Ellis and Sean McMillan. Characters used lovingly by permission from Ken Bailey. Okay. So Origins is the first one, and then there's part 1, which is in number 2. So Origins comes first. Okay, 2 20-somethings who are taking a job as reporters. I think this goes back to them meeting in high school first, and then getting this job. Well, actually, yeah, they go through a number of jobs, such as a car hop. Okay, now, it's a bit wordy, as you can see. There's a lot, for those who want a lot of words to feel like you're getting your money's worth. This certainly covers those bases for you. And it's a more cartoony art style. Okay, when they go to work for this news station, the weather reporter is Emmett Nesbitt. Made me think of Les Nessman, Emmett Nesbitt, just a Nez, I guess. Les Nessman, who was the weather guy at WKRP in Cincinnati at the show. But actually, the character himself looks a lot like a sales guy, Herb, if you ask me. But yeah, there's a whole crew over at the newspaper that they go to work for. That's the cast of characters there. So you get kind of like a sitcom-y type thing of WKRP or news radio, something like that, because they all have very distinct personalities. The origin itself has to do with aliens. Now, I don't think they really have a superhero costume. It seems like this page 1 is eventually what they're going to be wearing. I guess the cat one does. She could turn into a cat eventually. These aliens give them powers, and she can turn into a cat. So, here's the alien right here. Okay, again, a cartoony style. So, and again, just pretty wordy. I actually got through this one, but it was a lot to read. Okay, um, always have to remember that. I guess was it How to Draw Comics the Marvel Way or something? Says you should be able to deduce the story just from looking at the pictures, and the dialogue is a flourish and fills in the blanks, but uh, got about the author right there. Okay, the book comes out of Texas, and oh well, this is probably their costumes or what passes. No, it's not really a costume, but it's good for variety to have characters have different looks. Not everyone should be in spandex. Mary Solinski and the Wonder Kitty. Okay, so those are the two characters. Uh, there is a costume character in an ad here, but I think that's a friend who's also making a book. Mighty Energy Girl. It looks interesting as well. Yeah, so overall, it's again like reads. I could see this as a good sitcom. Um, this being translated very well into that, and we haven't, because it's origins, we haven't seen them in a bunch of action in this one, but it does set up the backgrounds pretty much more like an issue 0 does. Like my own issue 0 didn't have a ton of action for Argo 5. So then in number 1, or number 2 rather, which is the Prisoner Agenda Part 1, that's when you're going to probably start getting into a story proper. So, and I think the art style gets a little more refined over here. Just have to watch, I guess, if you're going to make women 20-somethings. Any type of jowls on the sides or any lines along the face age the character dramatically. So to depict them as younger, not to say anyone could have any type shaped face, but that just on immediate glance, and I guess the glasses might be considered frames that an older woman might wear. Talking about the non-clear frames. So those might be a little adjustments that could youthen up the look if they're going to be 20-somethings. But again, in this issue, we start getting a little more. They're involved, actually, when the government finds out that they have the superpowers, they're involved as government agents. So you got government involved here. I think these uniforms are drawn very well and everything. And the colors are nice. The lettering is fine. Square boxes, you just have to adapt to that. But again, a lot of words. And we get a letters column, which you don't always get these days. So that's pretty cool, right? And even got a Wonder Kitty sculpture in her cat form. That's when she turned into a cat. Kind of keeps her human hairstyle, which will let you know that it's not a cat. And ad for Energy Girl again. Put the two of them over there. So, yeah, it's worth giving a look. Again, if you're a type who sometimes feel like you breeze through some comics too quickly and that they don't give you enough, you would get a lot from here. Um, okay, so again, this is part one, the prisoner agenda. He actually has kind of laid out what he feels might be a breakdown of the issues in the back here. And the Energy Girl crossover on the bottom there. So that is Carrales Studios Productions presents Mary Solinski and the Wonder Kitty. All right. I had a Kickstarter book, Near X Reborn #3, Committed Comics. Okay, Bill Mouse again, who's done a number of Sorority of Power issues. Even had some work in Argo 5. This is Bill's cover. I mean, there was a bunch of other covers. Okay, story and art by Bill Mouse, colors by Cat Mouse. That's his daughter. And creative producer Chet Sams. Okay, and Bill's work, always exceptional, which is why I have repeated to collaborate with him on a number of books. He did a Law and Order Christmas special. We had that as well from him. And actually, Halloween's coming. And we have the Law and Order Halloween special. Maybe I'll put a link in the notes for that one. But yeah, I mean, Bill's work's great. Cat's colors on top of it. So we're getting some great stuff from Committed Comics and the House of Mouse. And we have a number of pinups in the back as well. Different artists. Giving their take on Nira X, who's been around for quite a long time. Maybe Entity Comics was the first that was printing Entity. Then Intergalactic Ninja, which I believe is where Nira first showed up, and a long and illustrious career throughout for this character. Okay, solicited through Diamond was Legend of Vanguard from Advent Comics. Okay. This is an Alan Goldman cover, who always does phenomenal work. Let's see. On the interiors, Tony Cottrell writer. He's the main publisher and creator for Advent. Marcelo Mueller artist. Russ Hughes colorist. Ed Dukeshire letterer. Okay, it's a superhero team, which I love superhero teams. Looks like good stuff. Let's see, I see a guest appearance by Titan, which is another Advent Comics character. Seems like we go into a backstory, and this is always great to have a page where you just, boom, they're the people in the team, they're their names, so now you know that. Because sometimes you go through the whole book and you won't even know who's who. Sometimes you go through the whole book and you don't know Some of them don't have power displays, so you don't know who everyone's power is. Um, and here's an ad for another book, Old Glory, which looks like Patriotic Team, Patriotic Heroes. So that's Advent Comics. And let's see what we got from Kickstarter. Thrilling Nostalgia. Okay. They had Blue Flame #1, Blue Flame #2, and K the Unknown. Blue Flame #1 and 2 might have been just better off as one comic because they're both pretty thin. And okay, we have some reprint in Blue Flame #1 with the public domain character, the Blue Flame. So we see some reprinting of the original, but then we go into an original story by Michael Finn writer, Geraldo Borges pencils and inks, Chris Ivy colors, Darren Whitshire letters. And that looks very good. They do a very nice job. I'm liking that. Okay, I think the same thing. Is the same team for #2? Yeah, except we have editor Mark Wade coming in. Chris Sotomayor for colors. So that's a little change in pace there. Well, you seem to have Rocket Man and Rocket Girl. Okay, more public domain characters coming into play. Then we have some origins book, origins of different characters, which we had in a full book from their first Kickstarter. So I don't know if these were in that or if these were extras that they didn't have back in time for that. Rocket Man, Crimson Knight, the Bat, Vulture, all done by some really great talent. I really like this page, especially with Rocket Man, Rocket Girl. The other one's the Crimson Knight. So these little origin tales are very cool. And we had another reprint in the back. K the Unknown. That was a character. This is a more modern take, a female taking over the role. Michael Finn writers, Stephen Sash Scott pencils, Bob Alman inks, Chris Sotomayor colors, Darren Wilshire letters. So that's K the Unknown. I'm not sure if there's any powers with her. I forget. There's the original K the Unknown, as I said, a male. So we get that. It's cool to have these reprints of the originals. We also have Pat Parker Warner's reprinted as well. So a bunch of reprints. Thrilling Nostalgia Comics. Okay, Artist Elite. I've showed a couple of their things right now. It's kind of like a collective of some amazing talent. So I'm very excited for their releases. Artist Elite #1. Okay, that's showing some of the properties that are coming in. What is that? Sand Weeches? I don't know. Sandwich, like sandwiches, I guess. Final Boss. But yeah, this is Brett Booth, who I love his work. So he's on the cover here. So yeah. Lost Serpent Prince. Writer illustrated Brett Booth. Final boss writer artist Tyler Kirkman. Sand Wenches, I guess that is. Concepts Al Garza and Howard Camdis, but story and script is by Al Garza. So Brett Booth, I mean, crazy talent. Um, Brett Booth started out with Wildstorm back in the day, did a bunch of DC work. Here he's doing some original material. Backlash was his breakout title over in Wildstorm. And seeing where his story ends and the next one begins. Final boss starts off after that. Give me a little chain reaction vibe on this one. Mask hair and strands out of the mask. Very similar. Final boss, and then Al Garza's story starts after that. Al Garza, I always liked his work. Has a very cool, somewhat manga-inspired style. So that was Artist Elite Presents number 1. Now this one I don't even see a title on it. See if it says in the indicia. Artist Elite Presents Power Blue Volume 1. So again, we have Final Boss. Okay, this is again. Oh, it looks like we have the Al Garza story right here, Final Boss. And then another story, Death Watch, created by Chad Hardin and Jared Gifford. Art by Chad Hardin. So Chad Hardin, I guess, came to prominence doing Harley Quinn. Now this looks more like we got Final Boss, but then we just got more like preview pages of it. Okay, character designs, preview pages. So this might be like their initial offering, which was more, rather than stories, just more concept work. Belong, so Freddie Williams' second coming into James Mitchell. So Freddie Williams' second, of course, well known. I think of him primarily from JSA, but he's done a lot of work DC. So now here's his creator-owned concept, bringing it to Artist Elite. So Artist Elite seems to be a number of guys who were, Chad Hardin, Freddie Williams, and Brett Booth all were doing DC work. I think Dexter Soy might have been doing DC work also. And he has Red Ronin written and illustrated by Dexter Soy. And there's a preview page of what's already in that other book. So this was the one I guess that came out first from Al Garza. Okay. Artist Elite. Since I'm packing, as I told you, I'm not gonna. This was like bundled in when I got in the mail. Just gonna show you that I picked up Hellcop. Okay. It's an Image Shadowline release. Looked good. Brian Haberlin doing the writing. Gerard Van Dyke doing the art. Okay, paranormal Investigator, but I have it sandwiched in here with an Avengers Epic collection, which I've been getting a lot of books in the Epic format, Titans United, and Blue and Gold, which is Blue Beetle, Blue Beetle, and Booster Gold. So I'm just keeping this packed up, but want to include it in the indie hole. This is another Image book. They're Not Like Us. Seemed like an interesting premise. Preview art looked pretty cool. Kind of giving me a little Paul Pope type inspiration on this one. So just looked interesting, so I picked it up. Here's some interesting books that I had to get from Stuart NG. I think that's pronounced like Win, maybe. I'm not sure. So they have a lot of sketchbooks that come in from conventions. This might have been right after the San Diego Comic-Con. They got in a bunch of books that I wanted. I had gotten some Frank Cho Outrage, so this is more Outrage. So Frank Cho book. I guess it was inspired from that era where it wasn't even an era. It was just a an occurrence where I guess everyone lost their stuff by Milo Manera doing a sexy Spider-Woman cover, and it seemed like, you know, I guess that's when Comicsgate picked up steam and everything, and people were all crazed about politically correct comics. Frank Cho kind of took a stand, like not really too interested in being, you know, super PC. And then he put out a book, just more like a cheesecake type pinups. Not really, even. I mean, just female characters, but not drawn in like, I think sometimes uh, the bigger publishers will have a very uh, non-detailed art style for any book starring a female, just so that there's no, I guess, sexualization of the characters. Um, so the art is very rough looking, and you know, I believe it's better to have good art um, and just people be mentally stable and not go too crazy about, you know. I mean, guys are drawn super muscular and buff, and it seems to be everyone seems to be okay with that. Um, but at any rate, this is Frank Cho put out this book, and Arthur Adams put out his drawings 2022. Arthur Adams, definitely in my top 5 of all time artists. And a lot of these were headshots, which I guess he's been doing more of, because this art book has been coming out for quite a while. Different, I guess, pieces that he's drawn throughout the year. There's a couple monster ones. Good for Halloween that's coming. Frankenstein and Swamp Thing, or Man Thing rather. Sorry about that. But always love art's work. So we had that. Okay, Alex Ross. I didn't even unplastic this one yet. I want to keep it in good shape for the move. Alex Ross, Unseen 2020 art book. So this you can see is a big epic piece he did from the Flash Gordon movie with Sam Jones as Flash Gordon back in the 80s. Kind of a cult classic, but there's more unseen art throughout that. Alex Ross doesn't really need me to show you previews of his work because everyone knows it, as does everyone know Terry Dodson's work. And Matt Fraction wrote this Adventure Man, big hardcover, oversized edition of this. Terry Dodson's a fantastic artist, so I needed this hardcover. And again, Stuart NG had that. Just trying to see where I cut this off. Try to go through a number of other books just so we can finish off in the next Indie Monster Haul. Trying to just leave enough that I can, again, get through the rest of them on another video and be caught up. Black Hammer Omnibus, you know, I guess already gone over the trades as they came out. So you've already seen my thoughts on this. Jeff Lemire, Dean Ormston, Jeff Lemire writing, Dean Ormston doing the art. Great cast of characters, mostly homages to like Captain Comet and Martian Manhunter. I guess she's more like a Mary Batson. So pretty much homages, but done in their own way. So really great series. Noctera, I picked up mainly because of Tony Daniels doing the art. Okay, it's an Image title. Black Hammer's Dark Horse, by the way. And it's more like a Top Cow style book. Tony Daniels, really fantastic artist as well. I think The Creech was one of his earlier Image titles that I picked up. The Creech. So he's a fantastic artist, and based on his artwork alone, I'll pick it up. Red Sonja, the Superpowers. I've been picking up Superpower omnibuses. I don't know if this will be included in one of those. I've been reading Project Superpowers through the omnibuses. This is Red Sonja crossing over with them. Who's doing the art in this book? Jonathan Lau, who had been doing. Writer Dan Abnett. Colorist Andrew Dalhouse. Letterer Hassan Othman Eloha. So yeah, the same artist been doing the Superpowers, Project Superpowers. Very cool. Again, giving you some characters. See, now they have the name Captain Future, Mr. Raven, the Sword, Vanna. So they have the character names along with the characters. Very cool. I think I never actually got around to this one. Still in plastic, The American. Okay. Mark Verheiden. Mark Verheiden did this book. Critically acclaimed. been in print for a long time, never got around to it, so I picked up a copy of that. And Aerosmith Volume 2, Behind Enemy Lines. Okay, Carlos Pacheco doing the art on this one, and he's one of my favorites. Kurt Busiek doing the writing, so we know what he's capable of. I think this is like World War II with sword and sorcery elements in it. So, just have to dig up where I have Volume 1. Yeah, there's like a World War II soldier and so mixing up superheroes, supernatural, and World War II. But I'm going to end it right there. So please like the video, subscribe to the channel, and I will be back with the remaining comics in this stack of indie comics. Leave your comments below on if you've picked up any of these books and your thoughts on them. I'd love to hear back from everyone and what everyone else is picking up on the indie scene. All right, so we'll be back soon for round 2. We'll be caught up a bit, and then, like I said, hopefully I can get through my move and be back on the air with the next one without the books piling up and, getting out of control again. All right, see you on the next one.